Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Crime drama this hour, Jackson Beck as Philo Vance. This episode, entitled The Left-Handed Murder Case, was originally broadcast January 10th, 1950.
Jen, darling, what's the matter?
Mother!
Oh, it's all right, dear. Now, everything's all right. Take it easy, darling. What happened? Did you have a bad dream?
It wasn't a dream, Mother. It wasn't a dream. I saw him. He was at my bedroom window.
Steve?
Yes, I couldn't sleep. I haven't been able to sleep since we broke up. Then I saw his face at the window. Mother, it was awful.
Oh, I know, darling, I know. I'll call the police. Even if you were married to Steve, he has no right to do this to you.
Well, the police won't be able to help us. They'll say I dreamt it. And Steve will deny he was here. The police have been trying to get something on him for months. You know that.
We'll talk about it in the morning. Your father hasn't come home from his meeting yet. I'll leave a note for him in our room, and I'll stay with you tonight. How will that be?
Oh, I'll feel much better then, Mom. I'll be sure one thing at least. Steve won't try to kill me. Tonight.
She's sleeping now, David, but she was restless all night. What do you think we ought to do?
I don't know, but I'm going to do something, I'll tell you that.
Eat your breakfast, Dave.
I don't want any breakfast. I want to do something to make sure Steve doesn't bother Jan again. And I'm going to do it.
I told Jan last night, and I'll tell you now, David. The police will take care of him.
When? After he kills Jan or makes a nervous wreck of her? Oh, no, Helen. He isn't going to get the chance. I'm going to see to that myself.
Red queen on a black king, Steve.
I know. I see it.
Okay. I thought maybe you missed it. Why does a guy play solitaire anyhow?
One reason, Lefty, is that it gives him something to do when he's alone with a mug like you.
Oh, I'm a mug, huh? Well, look, Steve, maybe I ain't such a mug as you think. Maybe I ain't as stupid as you think either.
You'd go broke betting on that, Lefty.
Oh, yeah?
That's what I like, intellectual conversation.
Steve, the boys and I have been talking.
I can't imagine anything duller than that.
Wait a minute. You don't know what we've been talking about.
Did you?
Sure. Boys and I think maybe you're losing your touch. They think maybe you ought to step down and let me run the gang. With you sticking around to plan the jobs, like always.
Oh, look, Lefty.
Hey, boss, take your hands off my collar. You're bending the suit.
I'll bend your neck in a minute. Now get this, Lefty, and see that the boys hear it, too. I'm head man in this outfit, and I'm going to stay that way until I decide to quit.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it is. I'll quit when I'm ready and not before.
Okay. And maybe the boys won't like that. Maybe they got their own ideas of how you're going to quit, Steve.
Angela down in Norway.
Allie.
Oh, well, Vance, the singing private investigator. I didn't know you crooned.
I didn't know you were typing the lyrics of a song, Ellen.
Oh, I'm not. I'm writing up the details of your last investigation, the tip-top murder case. And singing helps me type.
If you ever want to get your typing finished, I'd suggest you sing something a little faster.
Now, you didn't come out of your private office just to increase my musical tempo, did you, Vance?
No, I just wondered if the district attorney had called before I came in this morning.
Nope. No word from Mr. Markham. If there had been, I'd have told you.
I thought perhaps you might have been too busy trying to remember the last line of the lyrics of that song you were singing.
Vance, nobody has to worry about a last line of anything when you're around. Oh. Yes? Is there something I can do for you?
Not unless you're Philo Vance.
I'm Vance. What is it?
Oh, hello, Vance. I'm Steve Cayley. I want to talk to you. Can we go into your private office?
Come on. I don't want to be disturbed for a few minutes, Ellen.
Right, Vance.
Come in and sit down, Cayley.
Thanks. You've heard of me, Vance?
Never in a very complimentary fashion.
That was good for my business.
Was good?
That's right. I want to quit. I want to quit while I'm ahead and I'm healthy. I want to leave the gang I've been running around with.
As I understand it, you were the boss. How will the boys feel about your walking out?
Not good. That's what I want you for, Vance. Figure out a way I can get out with my skin in one piece, and I'll take care of you.
Sorry, that's out of my line.
Not interested in making a buck, huh, Vance?
Not the way you suggested. Besides, seems to me I read something about you and your divorce a month or so back. Your wife claimed you were a pretty nasty character.
I was the same character when she married me. I got a little news for you. I'm a little worried about her. And about her old man and her mother. They all hate me pretty much.
Apparently not without reason. Sorry, Kaylee, you've come to the wrong man. If you want to quit your gang, why don't you give yourself up to the police? They'd gladly keep you away from your boys for 5 or 10 years, as I understand it.
I'm allergic to cells, Vance. I tell you what I'd like to do, though. I suppose I give you the dope on the boys. What jobs they've done, all that. Think we could make a deal?
Wait a minute.
Yes?
See if you can get me District Attorney Markham, Helen.
Right.
Ringing the DA in on the deal, huh, Vance?
Yes. You want to give evidence against the boys you've been working with, and he's in that business.
Okay, anything you say. All I want to do...
Just a minute, Kaylee. Yes?
Mr. Markham isn't in his office, Vance, but I left word for him to call you.
Thank you.
Well, Vance?
Mr. Markham isn't in. I'll tell you what you do, Kaylee. Sometime between now and this evening, Markham will call me back, and I'll set up a date for 6 o'clock in his office. You stay with me until then.
That's all I got to do. I'll meet you up there, Vance.
I'd rather you were where I can keep an eye on you.
Yeah, I know. I'll see you at Markham's office. Unless...
Unless what?
Unless one of my friends sees me first.
Your friend is late, Vance.
Steve Cayley isn't my friend, Markham. I doubt whether he's anybody's friend. But you're right about one thing. He is late. He was supposed to meet me here in your office at 6. It's 6:20 now.
Maybe he got cold feet.
He seemed to be worried about the rest of him being cold in the event he met one of his enemies. But I don't...
Excuse me.
Of course.
District Attorney Markham speaking.
Hello, Malcolm. This is Douglas in Homicide. Are you busy?
A little. I'm here in my office with Philo Vance.
Well, how would you like to come up and look at a brand new murder victim?
Oh, it's hardly my idea of fun, Douglas. What's happened?
We've got a corpse up here at 300 Roslyn Drive. I think maybe you ought to come up.
I will as soon as I get through here. Vance and I are waiting for a man named Steve Cayley, and after he arrives, I'll meet you up there.
You're waiting for Steve Cayley, huh? Well, Malcolm, you're liable to have a long wait. The corpse I was telling you about once answered to the name of Steve Cayley.
Who's that?
Me, Mother.
Hello, dear. You're late coming home. Stop off somewhere?
Yes.
Where?
Don't bother me.
David.
I'm sorry, Mother. I didn't mean that. Oh, where's Jan?
I don't know. She's out, too. I thought she might have stopped by at your office for you.
She might have. I wasn't there.
Where were you?
Nowhere. Just walking. And deciding what to do about Steve Cayley.
You mustn't do anything about him, David. He's caused us so much trouble already. Don't make things any worse. Promise me you won't.
All right, Mother. But it's a little late for me to be promising anything where Steve Cayley is concerned.
All right, you guys. All right, dry up. Shut up, I said.
Okay, Lefty, you don't have to get sore.
I don't want nobody to tell me what I have to do.
Okay.
I got something to say to you guys, and I'm going to say it very quick. Steve Cayley is through. He's finished. His nerve is shot. He's going to pack us in. Maybe he's going to turn us in. We got to do something about that.
I ain't doubting you, Lefty, but how do you know about it?
I just come from his place.
What? What do you
Now
know
listen.
about him?
You guys going to listen to me?
Yeah, sure, Lefty, we'll listen, but what do we do about Steve?
I'll take care of that. I just want you guys to know what's up. Are you with me?
Okay, so you know how we feel, Lefty. Now, who does the job on Steve?
Well, I just wanted to find out how you guys felt before I broke this to you. None of you guys has to worry about knocking off Steve. That's been taken care of already.
he is, Markham. Steve Cayley. Somebody did a nice, clean job on him with that knife, right?
Yes, Douglas, that's right. Well, Vance, you see anything that might help us up here in this apartment?
Perhaps. Cayley was killed when the knife was plunged into his heart. The knife went in at an angle, and the hilt of the knife is nearer his right shoulder than his left.
That means something, Vance?
Does to me, Douglas. Markham, let's you and I go back to your office after you call Cayley's ex-wife to have her meet us there.
All right, but why?
Cayley was killed by someone who was left-handed. It's the only reason for the knife to be slanted the way it is. A right-handed person would have had to practically break his wrist to get the knife in the position it's in now.
Yeah, I see what you mean. But why call Cayley's ex-wife down, Vance?
I know he was having trouble with her, as well as with several other people, Markham. We might as well start with her.
Start what with her?
Finding out whether she's left-handed, of course.
Miss Clark, you're using your maiden name now, of course.
Yes, Mr. Markham.
Miss Clark, your ex-husband was killed by a person we believe to be left-handed. Are you left-handed by any chance?
Not that I know of.
Any questions, Vance?
Miss Clark, what glove do you put on first?
Why, the left one, I guess. Doesn't everyone?
I do, Vance.
So do most right-handed people. You had reason to kill your ex-husband, of course, Miss Clark. He told me that himself.
Well, many people have reason for killing others, Vance. It's a good thing for civilization that isn't the only thing one needs to murder.
You have a point, of course.
You can't question our child without our being here.
Daddy,
You can't.
Mother.
It's all right, dear. We had to come. We followed you from the house after you received that telephone call. What are you trying to do to our child?
I'm District Attorney Markham, Mrs. Clark. Mr. Vance and I were just...
You were just trying to make it look like she killed Steve, weren't you?
Now, take it
well,
easy.
she should have, but she didn't. And don't you try to make it look like she did.
Mr. Clark, we're not trying to make anything appear different than it actually is. You seem awfully sure she didn't do it.
Do you think she did?
Everyone is a suspect until we get some definite information, Mrs. Clark.
She didn't kill Cayley. She couldn't have killed him.
No, Mrs. Clark? Why not?
Because I did.
Mother.
Don't believe her. She had nothing to do with his death. I killed him. I killed him myself.
Did you, Mr. Clark? How?
How? Oh, I shot him.
How did you kill him, Mrs. Clark?
I shot him. He was tormenting my daughter. I shot him. You've got to believe I did it.
Are either of you left-handed?
No.
I'm not. And what difference does it make? I shot him, I tell you.
I know that's what you tell me, Mr. Clark, but Steve Cayley wasn't shot. He was stabbed to death.
What?
Yes, I suggest the three of you go home now and stop trying to alibi for each other. Good night. And what a night.
January 10th, 1950, Philo Vance on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater family, you know our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by just creating the best pillow. He created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me because, you know, I'm working like 67 hours a day. Now, Mike's offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets ever. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. You'll never want to sleep on anything else once you slept on a set of Giza Dream sheets. A special offer for you right now. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. Call 1-800-928-4715. Use the promo code Wyatt. Or go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Wyatt. It's good on anything on the website. That number again, 1-800-928-4715. Use my promo code Wyatt. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. More of Philo Vance, January 10th, 1950, the left-handed murder case.
This is District Attorney Markham. The left-handed murder case opened with the killing of gang boss Steve Cayley. Philo Vance is sure a left-handed killer did the job. And our suspects include Cayley's ex-wife, Jan Clark, and her father and mother, although none of them admits to being left-handed. The parents each confess to having killed Cayley, but we're convinced they're merely trying to divert suspicion from their daughter. Vance, remembering that Cayley had mentioned one of his gang named Lefty, has gone to find that individual, and I imagine... Look, Lefty, you sure you got this thing figured out right?
Sure. Sure, I'm sure. Look, you see that traffic light?
Well?
It's got to turn red, ain't it? And when it turns red, a car's got to stop, don't it?
Sure.
Well, there ain't much traffic up here. When a classic car pulls up to stop for the light, you get up on one side of it, I get on the other. We conk the driver, we take the car. We need a classic car for the big job I got in mind.
Okay, if you say so. I don't argue with my new boss.
So he's the new boss, eh? That means he's Lefty.
Who are you?
My name is Vance. I followed the two of you up here.
You did? Why?
Steve Cayley mentioned you when he came to see me just before he was killed. He told me where I could find you. I went there just in time to see you leaving, so I followed you.
So you found us. Hooray.
Lefty, I'm taking you down to see District Attorney Markham. We've got some questions to ask you. We think...
I figured you don't like questions, Lefty. That's the reason I conked him with my gun.
You practically broke his skull. Good for him. Leave him here. Let's beat it fast. Things are starting to get a little complicated.
You're finding out what a lot of guys find out, Lefty.
Huh?
It ain't so easy to be a boss.
Philo Vance's office, Miss Deering speaking.
Ellen, this is Markham.
The district attorney. I give up. I did it. You got me, partner.
Ellen, this is serious. Something's happened to Vance.
No.
I've just got the report. A man was picked up on the corner of Fort Wayne Drive an hour ago and rushed to the Mercy Hospital.
What?
He'd been hit on the head.
What makes you think it's Vance?
The description and identifying cards in his pocket. I'm positive it's Vance, Ellen. I'm on my way up there right now.
So am I. Thanks for calling me. I'll get there right away.
I'll meet you there. I'd like to get my hands on whoever it was that hit Vance. Believe me, I would.
You'd like to get your hands on him. I'd like to get my nails in him. I'll meet you at the hospital in 20 minutes.
2 hours from now, Jan, and all this unhappiness will be over. We'll be on our way to the coast, and we'll stay away until you've forgotten this unpleasantness.
Oh, thanks, Dad. You and Mother are being swell.
Oh, which reminds me. Mother, how's the packing coming?
Just a few more things, Dad, and I'll be ready to call you in to help me close the valise.
Good enough. Jan, I wish you wouldn't be so nervous. It's all over. Steve's out of the way. For good.
I know, but I can't help what I'm thinking. Dad, did you kill Steve?
We won't talk about Steve. We decided that.
Well, Mother said you were late coming home. You're never late coming home.
I said we won't talk about that. Why don't you go see if you can help your mother pack?
Packing's all done, and the valises are closed. What's going on between you two?
Nothing.
Nothing at all, Mother. Well, it looks like we're all set to leave here, doesn't it?
Well, I think that perhaps we ought to let the district attorney's office know we're going out of town.
What for?
Well, they may not like it.
Who cares what they like? We're not criminals. We can come and go where and when we choose. The sooner we get out of here, the better.
David.
Yes?
You said we're not criminals and we can come and go as we like. But are you sure one of us isn't a criminal? A criminal who just hasn't been caught up with yet? How does your head feel now, Vance?
Not good enough to listen to you do a chorus of Sally in our alley, I'll tell you that. Nice of you to come up, Ellen. You too, Markham.
We're certainly sorry to see you in this hospital, Vance.
I assure you it's much more comfortable lying here than it was on the street corner. Though if the truth is known, I don't remember much about lying on that corner.
Take my word for it, the pavement was hard.
Take my word for it, that smack on my head was harder. You sent anybody out to get this Lefty person, Markham?
I sent Douglas. He's Sergeant Heath's best man, Vance. He'll bring him in, don't worry. And I'm very anxious to talk to him for two reasons. One of them is the fact that he's responsible for your being in the hospital, and the other is that name of his, Lefty.
I know what you're thinking, Markham. Lefty and a left-handed murderer. That it?
With the motive he has, yes. But supposing it turns out not to be Lefty, Vance?
I have an idea.
Please let it have something to do with me for a change.
It has. You're going to leave here.
Me and my big mouth.
What do you want me to do, Vance?
Get the Clark family up here, Markham. father, mother, and daughter. I want to see them all in this room.
Suspects can come up, but I've got to go. What's the use of being honest?
You can stay, Ellen. I was only teasing.
Oh.
Markham, you get the Clarks here and see that the heat in this room is turned on as high as it will go. I'll try and solve this case from a hospital bed.
Vance, you've said an awful lot of things that have confused me on an awful lot of occasions, but that last statement of yours makes me wonder just how hard you did get hit on your head.
Worried, Markham?
Yes, I am.
You do as I ask, and you aren't the one who should be worried about me, my friend. It should be either mother, father, or daughter Clark.
Look, Callahan, I want to do this myself. That door to Lefty's room is awful thin. I can bust it down by crashing into it just once, I'm sure. And Sergeant, he says I'm to bring Lefty in, so I'm gonna do it. Okay?
Right.
Okay, here goes. Step back and keep your gun ready.
Hey, what's going on out there?
Hey, who's that? Hey. Okay, you hold it. Hold still, don't move. Oh, there's two of you, huh?
A cop, eh? What do you want busting in here like this, fella? You got a warrant?
No, Lefty, but I got a gun.
Right,
do me a favor and try to argue with it, will you?
Get over it.
Come on in here, Callahan. We got 2 passengers for the wagon. Isn't that nice? We'll have company all the way down to headquarters.
January 10th, 1950, Philo Vance on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of Jackson Beck as Philo Vance, the left-handed murder case, January 10th, 1950.
It's terribly warm in this hospital room, Vance. Are you sure you're comfortable?
Yes, Miss Clark, but thank you for being so solicitous. I hope Mr. Markham's call didn't interfere with your plans.
Didn't interfere? Of course it did. We were leaving town. Probably made us miss our train.
The last I heard, there were other trains.
Your information is still correct, Ellen. Mrs. Clark, if somebody threatened the safety, perhaps even the sanity of your daughter, you'd take steps to prevent that from happening, wouldn't you?
Of course I would.
And so would I, Vance.
I'm sure you would, Mr. Clark. And I'm sure that Steve Cayley was a constant threat to your daughter.
Look, we've already confessed to killing Steve. But neither you nor the district attorney would believe us.
Of course we wouldn't. You both said you shot him, and Cayley was stabbed. Vance, we're not getting anywhere.
I imagine that's so. Oh, all right. The Clarks can leave if they like, Markham. I guess a case can't be solved from a hospital bed after all.
I'll help you out with your coat, Miss Clark.
Thank you. I'll be ready for it in a second, as soon as I find my gloves.
I'll help you look for them.
Well, they're not under the bed.
Well, I'm sure they were on this chair. I remember putting them right there on top of my coat. Oh, here they are. They must have fallen on the floor.
Well, we still might be able to make the train if we leave right now. Goodbye, Mr. Vance. I'd like to shake hands with you and wish you a speedy recovery.
Thank you, Mrs. Clark. Well, Mr. Clark, going to shake hands with me?
No.
I will. No hard feelings, Mr. Vance. Pardon my glove.
That's quite all right, Miss Clark. Where's your other glove?
Right here in my hand. Why?
I just wanted to be sure you had it. Because I'm very sure we have you as Steve Cayley's murderer. It's very hard to explain why Miss Clark is our murderer, Markham. The combination of everybody talking and the way my head hurts makes it very difficult.
All right. Quiet, everybody, please. Quiet. Go ahead, Vance.
Well, to begin with, Cayley was killed by a left-handed person. Miss Clark had denied she was left-handed because she realized the mistake she made when she left the knife in Cayley's body at a revealing angle.
Our daughter is left-handed, yes, but she's not a murderer.
Why didn't you tell us she was left-handed?
Nobody asked us.
That's right, Markham. When Mr. and Mrs. Clark came into your office to confess, we didn't mention the fact that Cayley was killed by somebody who was left-handed.
Weren't you too brilliant, though? All right, so I'm left-handed. I put my right glove on first, so you knew that when I shook hands with you. And I did kill Steve. Do you know anybody who deserved death more?
I'm not prepared to say. All I know is that if you had waited a while, I'm sure one of his own gang would have done the job for you. Markham, if you don't mind.
Not at all. All right, everybody, let's leave Vance alone now.
Not exactly alone. I'm staying.
All right, Ellen.
Let's go, everybody. Mr. and Mrs. Clark, and of course, Jan.
Come along.
Goodbye, Vance.
Thanks, Vance. Thanks for everything.
Well, I guess that's that, Vance. How do you feel?
Not too badly, thank you, Ellen. By the way, you know why I wanted this hospital room heated.
I know now. You wanted to make sure the Clarks would take off their coats and their gloves.
That's right. I stalled for a while with unimportant talk to make sure the heat of the room would get them to take off their coats and gloves by themselves, without any suggestion from me that might put them on their guard.
You mean put Jan on her guard, don't you?
I didn't know which of the Clarks was guilty, Ellen. In fact, I didn't know if any of them were. I had to make sure one of them showed they were left-handed before I could do anything at all.
You did plenty, Vance. If you don't believe me, ask Jan Clark. But getting back to Markham's office a minute, what was all that confessing business up there?
Mr. and Mrs. Clark wanted to keep suspicion off their daughter, even though they didn't know at the time that she had killed Kelly.
Oh.
Chances are she tried to get them to murder her ex-husband, making up stories about how Kelly was annoying her. Well, I guess they didn't act quickly enough to suit her.
By the way, you know, of course, that it could have been Kelly's gang stooge, Lefty, who knocked off the big boss.
It might have been Lefty, of course, but not in view of what happened here a little while ago.
You mean Jan's confession?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've got something there. And I guess Markham will be able to get plenty on Lefty and the rest of Kelly's gang.
No question about that. Well, as they say in books, this all came out fine in the end.
In the end and at the end of the left-handed murder case.
January 10th, 1950, Philo Vance on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, time to go to Pine Ridge, Arkansas, see what's going on in the Jot 'em Down store with Lum and Abner. This episode from January 10th, 1944.
Granny's, Abner. I believe that's our ring.
I dog is Lum. I believe you're right.
Now, see. Hello, Jot 'em Down store. This is Lum and Abner.
Now, let's see what's going on down at Pine Ridge. Well, Lum has been in pretty desperate circumstances since his theater burned down, and yesterday he appealed to his old friend Abner for a job at the Jot 'em Down store and was immediately hired. And so now the former president of this business establishment is now its delivery boy. As we look in on the little community today, we find Grandpappy Spears in the Jot 'em Down store and library discussing this new turn of events with Abner. Listen.
Hey, you mean you're sure enough working for Abner here in the store, Lum? Yeah, but just twixt me and you, Grandpap, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to put up with it, though. I'll tell you, there's the hardest one man to work for I ever seen in my life. Abner is, huh? Yes, sir. He don't let up a minute. Now, he's had me sweep out the store twice today already. And I know the minute he gets back, he'll have something else studied up for me to do. Yeah, sir, that's the pigeon-toedest thing I ever heard of. If it weren't a case of work or starve, I'd walk right out on him. Now, I wouldn't put up with that little varmint sassing me around that way. No, sir. Not Milford Avery Spears wouldn't. No, sir, sir. Well, I'd almost rather dig ditches than to have that little critter ordering me around. And I'm half a mind to do it, too. Almost. Why don't you just go to New York City and take up some of them ideas you was telling me about the other day? Well, I'm going to do that, but I got to keep this job and save up some money first. See, them ideas of mine will take a batch of capital. Yeah, I see. Well, how much is Abner paying you, Lum? $3 a week. $3? Lord sakes, he offered me 3-4 times that much. I know it. It's humiliating. Downright humiliating. And that ain't the worst of it. Now, you take this morning, for instance. Sister Simpson called up for a spool of thread. A spool of thread, mind you. He sent me clean over to her place, walked all the way over there in that cold wind with a spool of number 50 white thread when it was a spool of number 60 black thread she wanted. So I had to walk all the way over there and back twice. Well, you ought to have made a mistake. Well, I never made it. It was Abner. And it wouldn't surprise me none if he never done it on a purpose, too. Well, I'll be a monkeyed, pigeon-toed uncle. He just appears to take a delight in ordering me around. Especially if there's a customer in here. That's when he likes to show off. He embarrassed me to death in front of Ezra Seastrunk this morning. Calls me boy, you know. Boy? Yeah, boy this and boy that. I reckons he better not never work for me again. If I was you, I'd go to California and pick Atacavos if I was you. I tell you, this is an awful come down for me. Here 2 months ago, I was president of this store. Now I'm nothing but a delivery boy. I tell you, it's humiliating. Out and out.
Here, what's going on in here? Come on, get up from there, boy.
Well,
What do you mean sitting around like this when there's work to be did around here?
I just sat down for half a second to talk to Grandpap.
Hey, Grandpap, that's another thing. I don't want you coming down here taking up my delivery boy's time. I ain't paying him to sit around and gossip. Go on, get back there, boy, and get that feed room straightened up now.
Why, straighten it up once today.
Straighten it up again, and don't be talking back to me neither.
All right.
When you get that done, why, sprinkle the floor down right good and sweep out again. I want this place clean in here.
But, Abner, I swept the store out twice today. There ain't no sense to keep...
Are you arguing back with me?
No, Abner, I just...
Don't call me Abner. I'm Mr. Peabody to you. Don't get so familiar around here. Now go on, get on back there and get your work done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I'll sworn to goodness, Abner, that beats anything I ever heard in my life. You ordering Lum around that way.
Quicker he learns who's boss around here, the better off he'll be. Go on, boy. Don't be standing there eavesdropping. I see you. Go on, get to work.
Yes, sir. I never would have thought he'd have took it off of you.
Yeah, he's got to if he works here. I'll fire him so quick he won't know how it happened. I'm paying him twice what he's worth now.
Well, he ain't no use to browbeat a feller, Abner. Lum's having a hard run of luck here late, looks like, and here you are taking advantage of it.
Man, I just saying all that so's he could hear me, Grandpa. I can see the top of his head there in the feed room door. I know he's trying to hear what we're saying. See, what I'm doing is just trying to learn him a lesson.
Learn him a lesson?
Why, yeah. I come down here this morning, you'd have thought he was boss. Sitting there in that chair, reared back with his feet propped up on the desk like he owned the place.
Well, he always did sort of run things when him and you was partners.
That's just the reason I'm putting him in his place. Started right out this morning trying to tell me how to run things. 2 or 3 days like today, and I'll have him tame as a kitten.
Well, I don't believe you ought to be too hard on him, Abner.
I ain't forgot the times he's bossed me around. This is more fun than I've had in 6 years. Just a chance I've been waiting for. Did he see anything about me bossing him around before I come in, Grandpa?
Well, yes, he did sort of make mentions of it.
What'd he say?
Well, he don't like it, I'll tell you that.
He don't...
Said you was the meanest feller to work for he ever seen in his life.
He did? Well, good. I'd give anything to hear him say that. Oh, it's just killing him is what it's doing. I'm just waiting for that Miss Milbank. You know, the one Lum sort of cast sheep eyes at over at church of a Sunday.
Oh, yeah, sure, I know her.
I'm just waiting for her to come in this door. I'm going to give Lum a good going over right in front of her.
Oh, now, Abner,
I'll do it.
Just about kill him. I wouldn't go too far with him, or he'd liable to haul off and whop you one.
Well, I don't think he will. I believe I've got him right where I want him. He still talks back a little, but I'll have him whipped in shape in a couple of days now. And just think, he used to boss me around. Doggies, I still can't get used to it, though, Grandpa. Every once in a while, I still forget who's boss and start to ask him if I can do something.
Yeah, natural you would.
I just been sitting around studying up stuff to make him do. I wouldn't take nothing for this. Him and his big talk. All them old Eddard sayings, you know, he's always pulling on somebody.
Yeah.
He started on one of them this morning. I just told him to hush right up, but I never wanted to hear it. You ought to seen the expression on his face.
Jiminy Abner, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm just doing it for his own good.
Yeah, but you're carrying things way yonder too far, I'm feared.
It's the only way to handle fellers like Lum, Grandpa. If I don't get the upper hand of him, why, he'll be running the store again, same as he's always did. I just can't let that happen.
Yeah, but you ought to pay him more money at least. Now, that $3 ain't enough to keep him in victuals hardly.
Oh, well, I just told him that. I'm going to give him more. Give him $10, I guess. Maybe 12 even, I don't know. But I want him to start at the bottom, work up, appreciate what he gets.
Might find out. Here he comes back.
Huh? Oh, yeah, what is it? What do you want, boy?
Well, I got the feed room straightened up, Mr. Peabody.
Well, it's about time. Well, you can sit down and rest for a minute then before you start sweeping out again. Don't want you to overdo it.
Sweeping out again?
Yeah.
You mean I gotta sweep the store again?
I told you I wanted you to sprinkle the floor down good and sweep it out. Now, that's what I want did.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Peabody, I was just noticing that flower back there. Some of it's been there quite a while. Might be a good idea to put a special price on that and sort of move it out.
Well, I'll do the pricing around here.
Well, I just thought...
Well, you ain't got no business thinking.
No, sir.
I'm going to put a special on that flower, but now don't you get it in your head that you give me the ID.
Oh, of course not. No. But if it's me, I'd make an announcement on the party line and shave the price a little.
Yeah, maybe I had better do... yeah, I was going to do that, yeah. It was my own ID. Excuse me, Grandpap, I'll do that right now before I let it slip my mind again. How much do you think we ought to ask for it, Lum? Never mind, I'll do the thinking around here.
Let me stand by the stove there, Grandpap. It's kind of cold back there in the feed room. Yeah, you must be tired, too, Lum, moving them 100-pound sacks of feed around. I never moved none. I just told him it was already straight. Just sit down and rest it back there.
Hello? Hello, everybody. Jot 'em down store talking. Ain't no far. I've just got an extra special announcement to make.
Hope nobody's listening.
I'm running a big sale on flour this week, and 48-pound sacks are regular $1.50 sellers. This week's special for $1.25.
Listen to that. In the first place, we ain't got nothing but 24-pound sacks. If there was 48 pounds, they wouldn't be worth that, what he's saying. Never did know prices.
What's that, Lum?
Nothing. I was just talking to Grandpap.
Oh, say, folks, that reminds me, too. I just want to tell you that I got a new delivery boy now. So as I can give you quick service. He better give quick service. If he don't, report him to me and I'll fire him. Anything you want, why, just call up and I'll send him right over with it in a dead run. We're going back to the old pre-war days of having delivers every day. Well, I reckon that's all for today, folks. Goodbye. Oh, that party line's about the handiest thing I ever seen. Showing these folks around here how a grocery store ought to be run, I reckon.
Yeah.
Got a man at the head of it now that knows the business. Just a good thing I got hold of it when I did, too. More like I've been bankrupted by this time. Yes, sir, it's just a lucky thing. Wait a minute. Answer the phone, boy.
You mean you want me to answer?
I'm looking at you, ain't I? Get on over. Get a move on.
All right.
Me act like you're 150-year-old.
I feel like it today. Hello? Jot 'em down store and library. L. Edwards, president.
Just say boy talk.
Hello, yes, Mom?
Can say deliver boy, I reckon, if you want to.
Why, sure we can. What was you needing?
I hope it's cleaned at Cherry Hill, that's all I hope.
What else?
Send him in a dead trot.
All right, I'll get it right over there.
Make him dog trot all the way over and back.
Yes, Mom. All right, much obliged to you.
I had a big
Abner, the widow Abernathy needs a can of baking powders right away.
Can of baking powder?
Yeah, she's waiting to make biscuits for supper, so you'll have to hurry. Here, take this can and get on over there as quick as you can.
Yeah, sure. Widow Abernathy, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Hurry now, she's waiting for us.
Yeah, I'll see you later, Grandpa.
Yeah, all right, Abner. Look at him go. Yeah, he's sure making tracks. Wait a minute, though. You're supposed to be the deliver boy here now. Yeah, that's the funny part about it. He plumb forgot that. Yes, sir, now, that's a good one on him. Taking it over there himself. Yeah, not only that, he's taking her baking powders and she ordered baking soda. He'll have to make another trip. Grannies, I figured I'd study some way to get him.
Now, I gotta tell you, I can't blame Abner for wanting to get a little revenge on Lum, because Lum's been a jerk to him for a long time. And yet, I think Abner got what he was asking for this time around. This is January 10th, 1944, Lum and Abner, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Of course, all the Lum and Abner shows in excellent quality, better than you're going to find on a free download anywhere. Those are available through Ted over at radiomemories.com. That's radiomemories.com. He has shows on cassette, CD, or on flash drive for your computer. Radiomemories.com. And your name?
Hi, this is Mason Adams for the IRS. In case you didn't know it, there are some important income tax credits that you may be eligible for. There's the Earned Income Credit, Child and Dependent Care Credit, Credit for the Elderly, Political Contributions Credit, Residential Energy Credit, and what's more, you don't even have to itemize to claim these credits. It may pay you to look into this. Use the handy order form in your tax package for free IRS publications on tax credits. A message from the IRS.
And we thank you for making us a part of your day. You can find all sorts of information about what we do here at our webpage, which is classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. You can stream our shows on demand. You can learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links there, a number of sites where you can download our shows for dining and dancing pleasure. And you can also contact me or buy me a coffee. That buy me a coffee money goes toward us acquiring additional classic radio collections and also goes toward us maintaining our distribution channels. That is at classicradio.stream. Classicradio.stream. And please take a moment to thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be here each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. Thank you so much for listening, and please tell your friends the great radio shows, the greatest of all time, are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.